Now, let's hear your take on the tax system. On my Facebook page, a California man posted this. I own 2 small retail stores and 1 piece of commercial property. Here's what Big Brother requires me to file. And then his list goes on and on. He closes by saying, I guarantee that Americans would have a higher standard of living if we simplified this absurd system. Now, in our audience are some people who've had some similar experiences. Marty Henderson, you have a business where you do ultrasound for vets of some kind in Texas. And what's your issue?
Well, I started my business in 2008, and previous to that I was an employee of a company in Southern California called VetImage. And the taxation in Southern California, well, in California in general, was so severe that I didn't even want to think twice about starting a business in California. So I moved to Texas. Like many a company from California, the flood into Texas, because Texas is a tax-friendly state.
Yeah.
And it's been a very good place to be. But there's no way I could have done what I've done without the assistance of my accountants at the tax club. They make my life, much easier, because even though I'm an educated man as a doctor, I don't understand this tax code.
But you had to pay them thousands of dollars.
Yes, I do. Yeah, it's kind of a love-hate relationship, right? Because I love them because they make the current situation bearable. But it's unfortunate that small businesses are so burdened with taxation that they can't even hire new employees. Many decisions are going to be affected in the future as the system gets more and more complicated as to whether they're going to be able to hire new employees. I hired 1 person last year, and I'm really thankful to have, well, 2 people actually. I've hired 2 people, and part-time, and it's been great, but it's so, I'm concerned. I don't have a sense of confidence that, hey, things are established, I'm making money, things are going to keep going like this, because things are changing rapidly.
And right next to you, Leslie Kavanaugh. You're a small business closet organizer. I didn't know there were such things.
There is indeed.
And you had a traumatic experience.
Well, we had a horror story. We received this letter in the mail saying we were going to be audited, and it was a complete surprise and a shock because I'm an organizer and I spend a great deal of my time during the year to organize all of my tax information. And we were eventually told that we owed the government $3,200. And for a very small business, that's a great chunk of our income. So we worked with the tax club and found out that it was a human error on the IRS part.
So it ended well, though it took 5 months. And you mentioned the tax club and pointed to the guy next to you. And that's Gary Milwick. You work for the tax club. And I don't get this. These people pay you not just a monthly fee, but they become members of the club.
Right.
And that costs $2,000.
Right. Yeah, we have an upfront fee of about that much, and it's a low monthly fee. Our model is somewhat different than a traditional accounting firm because people don't like to call their accountant and be charged, $100 for a 30-minute phone call. So it's more of a membership model, like going to a fitness center or a gym. And we found that clients like that more.
This time of year, people call you panicked?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. They're not just for the tax filing deadline, which they're panicked about every year, but they're just very uncertain about the different tax laws that are being passed now, the different credits and things that are coming up, and different potential taxes that they're going to have to pay in the future.
Now, these are competent people. They employ others. They're making money, but they're scared.
Absolutely. It's just a sense of uncertainty, and Leslie mentioned her situation with the IRS. A lot of times when people get letters from the IRS, they just, oh, what happened? I better pay this or I'm going to jail. When in fact there is a lot of times it's human error or some other, computer error or something on their side.
So you must like the complex system.
I mean, personally, we obviously make money from it, but I think I'd be able to find a job if it wasn't so complex.
Really? If we had a simple tax, and you're okay with that? Take away your job.
I'm fine. Call me confident. I think I could find a job.
All right, I'll get you together with my accountant. Now, there is one radio host that I admire who spends a lot of time talking about the evils of the tax system, and that's Neil Bort. So I invited him to join us. He has a very successful radio program. What, you got 5 million listeners? You're based out of Atlanta?
Looking for more.
Well, I hope we get you a few. And at this time of year, all year, you say people want to complain about the tax system?
Well, who would have thought it? But our research shows that of all the things I'll talk about in the radio, people love to talk about this tax system and getting rid of it.
Why?
Because it is the average American spends 55 hours a year just preparing their tax forms. That's over 1 work week. They want this burden gone.
And you really need revenue to pay for all this. I mean, we both agree government does too much, but we want government to keep us safe. They need to have a system that brings the money in.
They need to have a system that brings the money in that does not punish achievement and does not reward laziness. Just a fair, across-the-board system that raises the needed revenue for the federal government without playing favorites and without punishing people.
But what you call playing favorites, and I might call social engineering, the politicians would say, look, that's our job. We have this tax system, and it allows us to reward and encourage good behavior, green technologies, etc.
They have a tax system that allows them to reward behavior they want and to punish behavior they don't want.
We elected them, didn't we, to do like that?
We did. Yes, we elected them. But remember, about half the people in this country right now do not pay income taxes. So when they vote for their representative or their senator, tax questions are far from their minds. As long as they don't pay, it's all about how much can I get.
And you and many of your listeners would be fine with the current amount of taxes if it were just simpler.
Actually, no, I don't think we're happy with the level of government spending right now. But if you're going to reform the tax code, concentrate on reforming the tax code first. Get that done, and then work on government reformation.
And reforming the tax code means making it understandable.
No, that means eliminating it.
Well, that might seem impossible. Some private citizens, people Neil knows, spent $22 million of their own money and that of some friends, and they tried to find an alternative tax system, one that would raise as much revenue but be less destructive and intrusive and complicated. And Neil says they succeeded. They found a solution.